Thank you, Vicky, and thank you, ECPO. It's great to be here, and it's great to hear the talks from these obesity experts and patient advocates from across Europe. Now, I'm here to talk about the Action IO study. And the Action IO study is an important study. It was completed across 11 countries globally, including 4 European countries, and the data was collected till the end of 2018, and it was really looking around the beliefs, the perceptions of obesity, and looking at those in terms of barriers and facilitators to treatment. Now, interestingly and encouragingly, most patients and even more healthcare practitioners believed obesity was a disease. But unfortunately, both patients and healthcare practitioners focused on individual lifestyle approaches to treatment, which didn't really seem to reflect the biological basis of obesity. Now, what was more worrying is people with obesity believed it was their sole responsibility to lose weight by and large, and only 1/4 saw healthcare practitioners having some role or responsibility in this. While looking at the healthcare practitioners, many healthcare practitioners believed their patients, people living with obesity, were neither interested nor were they motivated to lose weight. And why would that be? Well, it might be that they're looking at patient failure, that they advise their patients around weight loss and the patients come back and have not lost any weight. So they assume patients aren't following guidance. It might be because they don't understand obesity as a disease and what underpins that and the treatment options available. And it might be simply there is stigma at play here in terms of healthcare practitioners' views around obesity. This doesn't reflect the experience of people living with obesity. Action IO show that people with obesity made 4 or more recent serious weight loss attempts. So the people were engaging in self weight management seriously. Unfortunately, it didn't seem to result in significant weight loss or weight maintenance of weight loss over time. And it took people with obesity 6 years from first struggling with their weight to having their first conversation with their healthcare practitioner, whether they raised it with their healthcare practitioner or their healthcare practitioner raised it with them. And why was that? Well, probably goes back to this idea of responsibility, this idea that it is solely my responsibility to deal with my weight problem. It might also be related to stigma, fear of being judged by healthcare practitioners, or actual past experience of being judged by healthcare practitioners as well. And finally, there probably is an element of self-stigmatization in there as well, because this feeling of responsibility, all these efforts, but ultimately the failure of trying to do it on their own without support and not succeeding in the long term. So the consequences of struggling with obesity and not seeking healthcare practitioner advice and support is obviously obesity complications have time to develop, and repeated failure in weight loss attempts will have an impact on self-efficacy. And this in turn will make it harder in the future for those individuals to lose weight. So the sooner healthcare practitioners and people with obesity can have a constructive and respectful conversations around weight management, the better. So that's kind of my take on some of the important messages coming out of Action IO. Now back to Vicky in the studio. Thank you, Vicky.